Welcome back, everybody. We got something new for you guys. 94 feet extended, doing a little bit of a weekday video instead, something shorter and just condensing it down to one topic. And today we're doing it on one particular player. And Danny, real quick, before we get into this, I want to and address this player. I'm going to take you through a quick question.
All right, hit me.
When you go through these stats, and I'll go points, rebounds, and assists, who's the first player that comes to mind? You got 31, 5 and 7, 45, 9 and 7, 38, 5 and 4, 36, 5 and 4, 35, 6 and 6, 38, 6 and 5, 43 and 7, 38, 6 and 6, and then 37, 6 and 3. Who do you think about when you think about those stats?
I think of GOAT. That's like GOAT numbers right there.
Exactly.
I think of Kobe. Kobe
really.
Kobe going on a crazy tear halfway through the season. That reminds me of some Kobe stats.
All right, perfect. I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't go with somebody like MJ, because I feel like just consistently, especially if you watch The Last Dance, that's one of those things.
Well, I mean, he's not the GOAT.
You don't think that? Oh my goodness.
Another topic for another day?
No, that's definitely another topic. Okay. But okay, so obviously, like I said, I just feel like you see those stats, you associate it with the greats of the NBA. But right here, we're talking about DeMar DeRozan. He's had a fantastic streak going over these past few games. Kind of right before that All-Star break, going into even just the 2 games right after the All-Star break against Atlanta and Memphis. And I mean, they're unprecedented numbers. You see some of the stats he's breaking. He's breaking Wilt Chamberlain records, 35 points or more, and to shoot 50% or better in 7 consecutive games. I mean, we mentioned in the show before, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And he was a game away from breaking a MJ record, which is something you never hear about either. I mean, we talk about how good Wilt's stats were. MJ's stats were just as good. And like I said, he was a game away from averaging 35 points on 55% shooting for the entire month in the three-point era. So, I mean, that's something that I think has to be addressed as well.
Yeah, we talked about it in our last show. Where do we rank DeMar DeRozan in our MVP? I think I put him at 4. You put him at 5, if I'm correct.
Right behind Steph.
Right behind Steph. Okay, I really want to put him higher in my MVP ranks, but like what you said, it's he's doing some historic things right now. The Bulls are still dealing with injuries, and he's just carrying this team. When the Bulls brought him in this past offseason, Bleacher Report, they did a ranking of their top 10 worst free agent signings, and they gave DeMar DeRozan the number 1 spot. And that's because DeMar was stuck in San Antonio for 3 years. He's 32. He's been in the league for a while. He was in San Antonio. He kind of fell off, and the Bulls, they gave him a bag, and he's fit in perfectly into this offense because they built the offense around him, really. Everyone thought Levine was going to, be that number 1, and DeMar was going to take a step back because I remember Levine was in like the MVP talks this offseason, but now it's DeRozan. And they have Vucevic. They have a solid squad. Lonzo, when he comes back from injury, they're playing Javonte Graham, an undrafted dude. He's starting. He's playing valuable minutes. They got defenders all over the place. It's a solid team. There's a reason why they're the 2 seed.
Exactly. And actually going into the 2 seed, I have to ask the question, considering DeMar DeRozan doesn't have the most playoff experience, and that team in general doesn't have the most playoff experience, how far do you think the Chicago Bulls team can go in the playoffs, especially with the way that DeMar DeRozan has been playing on this MVP caliber?
If you asked me like a year ago, Kade, I would have said, I love this Chicago team for the playoffs because they got players I love. Vooch, he was stuck in Orlando. It's his time to shine now, right?
Exactly.
DeMar, he was stuck in San Antonio. It's his time to shine now. But like you said, they don't have experience. Even though they're the 2 seed, I still got the Heat above them. I got the Bucks above them. And I'll throw them in the mix with the Sixers and the Nets.
Okay, I like that.
So, like you said, they still don't have too much experience. Even when DeMar was in Toronto, how many times did we have stacked, or maybe not stacked, just really good Raptors teams winning 60 games a year and then getting swept by LeBron in the playoffs?
Exactly.
How many times have we seen Vucevic get knocked out in the first round at Orlando? Not his fault, but I'm just saying, winning basketball matters in the playoffs, and I personally don't trust the Bulls team to go on a far run. I could see them, making obviously the semifinals or something, but I don't see them coming out of the East.
Okay, I like that. I was gonna say I'm looking at the conference, the standings right now, and as of now, if things were to end today, you'd have the Chicago Bulls playing the Toronto Raptors. I think that's a matchup that lines up perfectly for the Chicago Bulls. I feel like the Raptors, while being a good team this year, just haven't been putting up the numbers that really gives them that championship caliber team. So I think realistically, you might see the Bulls winning that one in 5. Then it comes a little bit more of a difficult situation. Who do the Bulls play after that? You're talking as of now, I think it'd either be the Sixers or the Celtics, which, let's be honest here, the Celtics aren't going to take down the 76ers. So you're looking at a team like the 76ers.
Hold on. The Celtics aren't taking down the Sixers?
No, not right now.
100%?
Well, 100%.
I don't know.
I'm committed to that one.
Okay.
But it's that second round that kind of things get a little bit dicey right there, because that's where you're going to start seeing teams like the Sixers, possibly the Bucks. I mean, you're going to get lucky if maybe you can see Cleveland in the second round. I mean, that's a team I think the Bulls can kind of handle. But at the same time, again, I agree with you. I think it comes down to that second round exit for this Bulls team, purely just based off the lack of experience the team has.
I agree with you, Kate. This is the problem we have with doing one video segments. I want to get into the Celtics now, but we can't. That's another topic for another time.
Exactly. We might have to save that for another time.
But anything else you want to get into?
All I'll say is that when we've last talked about it, I think I had DeMar DeRozan as 5th. I think you might now maybe even talk about him as 3rd in that MVP ranking. So I think that's the last thing I got to say here.
I think I'll go Giannis, Steph. Do I go Embiid? I'll go Embiid and then DeMar. He's still 4 for me.
I'm going Embiid, Giannis, DeMar right there.
Okay.
Especially if DeMar keeps playing the way he has been.
Okay.
He's locked.
All
right. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
If you made it this far, you're a real one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, show some love, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
And if you haven't followed us on any social media yet, follow 94 Feet Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.